Hello, 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 and welcome to another One Line of Code. I am One Lion. Dukasoft was first, and he's gonna go eat dinner. Yeah, dinner. So late in the day for you, but still so glad you could be here, or lurk here, or whatever. But hi, it is Wednesday. A quick reminder, starting Monday through Friday of next week, I will not be streaming. The end. Okay, I am getting stuff set up because I have been working all the way up until the bell because I have a lot of stuff to do before I leave. Pretty much all of the stuff that I can do for the release for my work product is done. Just need to do some testing, and then there are some new things that they're wanting to squeeze in, and it's like, all right, we could do it. I'm sure we can. We could do anything. Scooch over here. Come on, Visual Studio. I would like to show my desktop now. I'm just trying to load up the project currently. So the project, by the way, is one that we've been working on the stream. For anyone that has not seen it yet, you can find it on the GitHub, on the GitHubs, and the link provided. It is open source. It is just a stream project. It's not intended to be like super robust, meet all of your needs kind of project. It's more intended to be like a teaching-ish, let's see samples of different patterns, different ways to do code, full stack. Huh? Sure. I got a message in my Visual Studio that was confusing. But anyway, just how a full stack developer would approach a greenfield project essentially, but not really greenfield because it was more of a modernization effort. Hello, Goku Jax. More of a modernization effort for a legacy application that I've been using since about 2013, 2014. So I use an Access document, an Access database that I've modified a little bit over the past few years, but I've been using it to track my own finances manually, which I have enjoyed doing because it helps me to make sure that I am not going overboard with spending, and just helps me to see where I am putting my money. And it is not where my mouth is at the moment. That's okay. So I think I can show the desktop. Let's just make sure it is displaying the right screen. Oops. Go. Okay, so we have been endlessly trying to get our keyboard to work. Fine man. Server.net watch. Over the past few streams, we have been getting closer and closer to finishing the last few features of the app, which I had hoped to have done. Loading. Loading. Once it launches, we'll give you a preview of where the app is currently and what is left. Well, I mean, there's still a lot of UI stuff left, and then maybe we want to implement this login feature. That would be cool. There are plenty of places to go after we finish this last planned feature for the app. But you have it is a simple app that is intended for individuals to use to track their own finances manually. It's not intended to connect to your financial institutions and automatically pull in your transactions. This is like you come in here and you put in, I bought something on 2023 from some place for some amount, Tax, I guess. And I paid for it using my Cheddar charge. I want to use that. So that's going to move because I really want to use that button to submit. Yeah, we're definitely moving that. That's just going to go on the maintenance page. And we'll end up calling this maintenance actually, now that I think of it. Anyway, and that transaction will get logged. You will have it in your records forever. It'll be used to calculate your current balance. Right now, it is a part of the pending balance, but if we add a posted date of, let's say we were trying to do the day before we actually purchased the thing, then we get an error that says the posted date must be on or after the transaction date. So we put it on or after the transaction date, and now this is 2.48 monetary units less in pending, and then this is the actual total amount based off of current balance plus pending. Cool. And so it was actually 3 units, 3 whole monetary units and 0.23 partial monetary units. Why didn't that? Oh, because I didn't actually commit that. Interesting. So if you push update before committing, it doesn't actually update. Good to know. We probably want to change that too. That's a lot of clicks just to update one small number. And hello, Nate Palm. Please don't call me a yo-yo. Finite was talking about that earlier. It's funny. Anyway, yeah. This is what I'm trying to get to. I will call you Duncan instead. Works for me. Actually, you can call me whatever you feel like calling me. Even Yo-Yo. I apologize for acting as if you couldn't call me that. You can even call me names if that makes you feel better about yourself. Do. And I was in a meeting earlier, and we don't ever expect anyone to come to our door. So if ever anyone knocks at our door, it's most likely a door-to-door salesman. Hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second. Yo brand. I never feel good about myself. Hashtag facts. That's not good. Give me a second and I'll be right back. Gotta put my skirt back on. My skirt. It's a blanket. I wear it around my waist because it's comfortable and it keeps my feet warm. Blanket. Skirt. You do you, man. Hashtag no pants. I'm still wearing pajama pants. I mean, come on. I wouldn't come to a stream without pants, right? Right. Oh my goodness. Hey, do. Do. Anyway. Good times. So that works. The other types of transactions that you can log in this system are so payments are when you use your account to purchase something outside of the accounts that you're tracking. Deposits are when you are receiving money into one of your accounts from outside the accounts that you're tracking, and then transfers are moving money between transactions that you are typing. I've had keyboard typing issues. Do you have a similar thing as swipe, or the thing where you drag your finger on the keys? I love swipe. It's just hard for usernames. Okay, so I talked about those. The thing that we really needed after we finished getting all of this functionality set up. Oh, right. And the other thing you can do is see all of the transaction history by account. I forgot about that. We have a lot of accounts being tracked. Not sure why this one is negative though. I need to start putting money into the Marcus Voice Institution. In fact, let's transfer some from my savings. Today, man. Today. What is today? The 7th? Probably. And uh let's make it post already. And there you go. We have donated to the Marcus Voice Institution, which is a nonprofit organization that we are tracking. Wonder what happens UI wise when you add 100 accounts. Yeah. So I don't have any scroll bars. I don't think. I didn't tell this thing to have a maximum height and do overflow. So the answer is this would stay the same height. This would push everything down here down further. Oh, yeah. It would be beautiful. Every other platform has. Currently, I am cursing DevOps pipelines work for Pulumi in GitLab. Every other platform has extensions or GitHub Actions. God, I hate writing pipelines. So there really isn't a marketplace extension for Pulumi specifically. I think that's what you're telling me. That account doesn't have access. Oh, for GitLab. Yeah, it's kind of a confusing statement. Are you cursing? Uh, oh, you're cursing DevOps, not because like you put a capital D, capital O, and that just makes me think Azure DevOps. And it sounded like you were talking about both DevOps and GitLab, but you're talking about DevOps as a thing. Screw it all. Hate it all. Okay, so we saw that transfers work. So what we needed was a way to add items to these drop-down lists. We have a way to add accounts, which we tested extensively by adding those. No, not with automated tests, but we should be doing automated tests. So the way that we are setting up the ability to modify these is through this list management. Oh, no, please use whatever language you use. There is no shaming you for using words to express. Especially, this is like you don't curse often, so when you do, it must be something. Well, you don't curse often in my chat. So it must be something that is bothering you and seemed appropriate for the situation that you're in. So it is word. It is words. It's all language used to express an idea. So anyway, use your language. Uh, be mindful of others, but as far as I'm concerned, you don't have to worry about offending me with language. Because to me, it's all language. It's all ways of changing thought into sound. Like I could say and mean what I mean. So, okay. Anyway, yeah. I will caveat that now that I'm thinking about it a little too hard. Um, since this is getting recorded and the text is going on screen, again, curse words are fine, in my opinion, when used. I don't know. I just don't have a problem with curse words. I just don't use them often. It's like just use the words that make sense for your current sentence and thought and idea you're trying to convey. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, I'm not trying to push my ideals on any of you, but just letting you know. Be mindful that there are other people that are offended by curse words, and if it's up on the screen, there may be complaints. And if there are complaints, then I'll do something about it. But I think you should just speak the way that you believe to be courteous and respectful to others. Because I think that's in the. Do I even have chat rules? I think the only thing that really matters is that you are being courteous and mindful with the things you say. Excuse me. Do I have chat rules? No, not YouTube, Twitch. No, no. You are absolutely okay. I tried to make you feel like it wasn't a bad thing and then I turned it into a thing, but I don't mean to turn it into a thing. It is absolutely okay. But I also want to be mindful of anyone that wants to see the content on this stream that does not like curse words. I just don't understand why that's such a big. That one would be the can of worms. It's a thing now. So if I went into the whole reason that I have no issues with curse words as being part of your vocabulary and you use them where it's appropriate as opposed to just to get a rise kind of stuff, and I compare that to the other thing that I will not mention or talk about, especially on this stream, it just baffles me how that is more important than this other thing. Clips, moment settings, stream. Chat. Not one of those. Channel. Chat. None of those. Moderation. Chat. Oh, chat options. Don't need verification. Here it is. Yeah. Be mindful of each other, treat each other, including me, with respect, and understand that not everything will be responded to if it's off topic or too distracting. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. Successful run of the pipeline. Yeah, so even in Azure DevOps, our pipeline for the work product, oh my goodness. We have to go through I don't even know what you call them, but we have like a centralized team that has a pipeline system, and we run different things from that centralized pipeline on top of our stuff. And so if there's anything that we need specific to happen during one of the steps, I guess, it's really hard to find where that step is, know if it's part of that other team's pipeline thing. And we can't even see the definitions of those pipelines. They're just like wrapped up. It just says call this pipeline and run it. YAML bash soup. It's never good. And that's 90% of DevOps. It feels like, ugh, bleh, bleh. One of my favorite sounds. Okay. So yes, we want to be able to modify the items in these lists. To include adding items, what happened to my... So I have a design for this, and I completely just ignored this, or just got distracted, most likely, because this is what I do. Oh, and I am starting to, I think I said it in the last stream when I was talking about all of this and showed how to make components and variants inside of those components and how fun it's starting to get. I don't even like UI design. It's kind of like when I got Blue Apron for the first time and they gave us this corn on the cob, and I'm like, I don't like corn. I'm not going to be able to eat this. And then I prepared it the way they told me to prepare it and dished it out, gave myself a normal portion, and then I ate it and I liked it. I liked it a lot. And in fact, I really, really am craving it right now. Now that I'm thinking, stop talking about food. You're so mean. But anyway, same thing with UI. I'm starting to actually enjoy the process of creating Figma screens, Figma designs, Figma jams. It's really getting to be quite fun. But anyway, in my design for this page, I have a section to enter new items. So I need to get rid of this value column. That's one thing. And then I also need to add the new item adder to add the addingly. And we'll use these two icons as well for our edit and delete buttons. Excuse me. Font was ignored. What font? There is no font. Font is an illusion. Is that one of the things you saw on my main Figma page? Speaking of, now that I do have this experience with Figma, I might actually be able to use, where's my favorites? I might actually be able to reference the Microsoft MRTK Figma Jam. I think they're called jams. I don't know. I'm pretty sure they're called jams. How do I get back to the main page? Just take me to Figma. Now that I know how to use components and variants, this thing here. So I would do a well, the thing that I don't know how to do yet is reference this in my own project. So that would be the starting point. But then I would go into my own page, and then I have my list of assets here, and I can find the one that I need, and then I'll be able to customize it using these properties over here. So is it use an icon or not? Have text or not? Is it selected? Center? How did they get these toggles though? How did they get these toggles? I want to know how to turn some of my properties into toggles. Hmm. Anyway, I love this. This is starting to get really fun. Oh yeah, the first one was hand drawn. I will not bring that one up, but yes, yes. Oh man. I forgot to use the same font as the original design. That would be terrible. You know, there's probably the way that you can have your voice generated by AI, you could probably have it generate your handwriting too. Although I'm sure that that's not really a focus because signatures are still a thing. And so being able to generate signatures based off of handwriting, that would probably be bad. But what I was going to say is it would be cool if you could just write something out and then have AI scan it and then turn that into a font. And then when you type stuff, it looks like it's handwritten by you, but obviously that has some pretty bad implications. A lot of stuff surrounding AI does, but I just want to play with it. That's all. I want to have fun with it. Why there gotta be all of these bad actors in the world? Makes me sad. Okay, we're gonna actually do stuff now. I promise. We're going to remove that column. Number two, and number two. Okay, that gets rid of the column. Go away column. Then we are going to add, I don't know, should I do it as a table header? It would make sense. Like have the actual new record. TD call span to div form control form group sounds right. I think this is what I want. So we will have name just like we have down here, the input, which we will need new item name or something, and an add button. Oh, it's probably thinking that I was going to use this as a filter as opposed to for being able to add new items to the list. Good effort, though. Private string. Oh, ooh, did you see that? New item name. That's exactly what I want. It's because I said it out loud. Oh, enjoy your meeting. I had 2 of them in a row this morning, and then after the stream, I will have 2 interviews to conduct. It's always so difficult when we talk about interviews on this channel. Enjoy never. Well, I hope it is not super annoying and frustrating. Only one or the other, but not both. Button. I don't know. What am I using for buttons? Oh yeah, yeah. By the way, I think I have an idea, and it'll be open for discussion, so it's not set in stone. But the thing that I would like to work on after we're done with this project is the component library. I think I really want to make the component library official now that I've gotten a lot more comfortable with creating components, how to organize things, how to do the CSS. There was once a lion. Some say he's still around. He's one of one. Pretty damned unique and wonderful and nice. Well, I appreciate the kind words. And hello, Thindle. I hope you're having a fun day so far. This wonderful hump day. Because I didn't want to say wonderful Wednesday. It would have been, but then I did. How do you do this? Tyndall. If you guys don't know Thindle, there is a little heart icon up there that you can click to follow him if you aren't already. Thindle has been modernizing. Actually, Thindle's been playing Diablo 4. Thindle modernizes legacy.net applications on his stream. Um, I can't see the icon. Well, you must be following yourself already. Um, back to reality. But yeah, he's been doing .NET Framework to .NET Core, at ASP.NET, the web pages to to MVC, and part of it is going to be Blazor, the admin pages and such. Currently trying to deal with a server that's being a poo poo. No. Have you tried throwing it out the window? That's how I fix my issues with servers. Why are you angry? Oh, because I didn't actually save the code behind file with the new field. So, still, have you tried throwing it out your window? I guess the answer to that is no. That's all you had to say. Jeez. I don't think they have windows, and I don't think they'll allow me to throw it anywhere. I don't think I'd be able to. Hmm. Throw it on the ground? Tip it? Dynamos. Okay, we have an input field. Huh? What? Slicky, slicky, slim shit. Oh, what? My form autocomplete has a. They have a John. Throw something with gravity assist. Kerbal Space Program. Here I go. Here I go. Anyway, we're gonna create an item called huh? What? Slicky Slicky Slim Shady. Eventually. So, oh, we still have that issue where if you come to this page directly, we'll fix that too today. You come to this route directly by navigate or by putting it in your address bar and navigating that way instead of through the app. It is not pre-populating the items. I thought that we fixed that on Friday, on Monday. Okay, anyway, so let's get this add button to work. I really, really don't like the default, what I have for the default button hover. It's terrible. It's pretty terrible. But that's okay. These are going to be icons. Everything will be fine. We'll close our eyes and act like it's not happening. So to get this button to work, let's hook it up to an event callback, a method delegate, a code behind handler, private task, handle add new item clicked. And we don't need to provide any parameters for it. So let's hook it up. Do you know who was terrible? Vlad the Impaler. Really nasty guy. I don't know. The way that he's been portrayed in some movies, which are gospel truth, obviously, show him to be a more caring and thoughtful guy. And in fact, in the Castlevania anime, he just wants to be loved and to love. It's not his problem that his nature is that humans are. Well, the thing there was a movie called Vlad, which was about Vlad the Impaler, and they made him out to be Dracula. Bad. Okay, so let's do some magic. If not string is null or white space, capital S. Yes, you were going to give it to me. Underscore new item name. No, this. If string is null or white space, then we're going to return task completed task. Well, we're actually just going to return because this will do an API call. And then we are also going to have a string for our add new error. And we're going to clear that out before even trying this. I'm invited to Stockholm, Switzerland. Switzerland? Is that where? Oh, can you guess what Vlad the Impaler's father's name was? Sweden. Sweden is what I said. Stockholm, Sweden. And it was Vlad. Vlad Dragul. Draconis. Just Vlad. Not Vlad Senior, not Vlad Junior, just Vlad. If string dot, no, not string dot. If where's our current loaded list? Where do I get our currently loaded list from? Underscore items. Any. Wait, is items a list of string? No, it's a list of lookup item. So this will be items.any x.name display text is equal to new item name. Then give me a message. Item already exists, and then do not. And we will say if items is null, then default to false because that means it doesn't exist in the list. You are a list. So if items is null here, then we will go items question mark equals new so that we can initialize the list in case it is null. Then, because we made it this far, for now we're just going to add it to the list. Or, oh, yeah. We can't just add it to the list because we have to add the specific item type. Thank you, Copilot. I forgot about that. Problem is that there is no constructor for these that uses the... You know, that's not a bad idea, Copilot. What if, and this is a big what if we had a constructor on our base class that accepts so we'll have two constructors. We'll have a constructor that is just no params. And then we'll have the constructor that takes T item. Problem would be setting the right fields. Because I think that there are a couple of lookup item view models that have additional properties. Oh, I love that. I don't know. This could still work. Item equals item. Display text equals item dot name. Keep going. Give me the rest of them. Value text equals item dot ID. I forget what other fields are here. Last updated, item dot last updated, sort order deleted. And that should be it, right? Great. Okay, so this could be how I do this. Which actually, I need to do I need to do that here. How did that happen? I thought I was in here. You have mail. Item.id. Not value text, just ID. And then this will also populate value text. Yes. So then does that mean, oh man, I actually don't know how this works. I can't, I probably did at some point, but I can't think of it off the top of my head right now. If I do it this way, do I actually have to have a constructor here that is the same as base and a constructor that has T item, item, and then pass this in, or do I get that for free? Because if I don't get it for free, then that means that I need to add it to every single one of the the things that inherit or extend this. I guess we can find out by looking here. So, for example, Yeah, I think I get it for free. Man, my music is turned down so quiet right now. I want to hear it. I gotta hear it. Uh, Another reminder. Now that we are, I have no idea how long into the stream. I will not be streaming next Monday through Friday. The end. So I'm gonna get rid of this. Weird. Oh, the reason that that worked. The reason that that worked was because this was a lookup item view model. And what? S Thindle? Yeah, it's crazy. Irish John Games said that he's going to be out for 2 weeks from Friday, probably starting on Friday, but maybe after his stream on Friday. He's gonna decide. I'm gonna be out from Monday through Friday, and I think Dukasoff said he might be out anyway. Or was it Thindle that said he'd be out? Yeah, just start streaming more often. Dukasoft will be here with me, right? Anyway, the reason that the other one worked is because I was calling this constructor here. Okay. Manema, manema, manema. Okay, so this one is going to be the harder one because it does have the extra field as well as categories. So it's going to be treated different anyway. So we will have a constructor for you, and we'll have the empty constructor that also does nothing. And then we will have the constructor that takes a payee and it passes it to base. But then, base. But then it's going to do some extra stuff. Oh my gosh, does anyone know how to code? I would like to take lessons. We need payee name. We don't need payee name because display text will be set in base. It's categories. Categories. This thing knows. Code. There's probably an online enigma out there that can give you code. Possibly. Gonna do some manual testing tomorrow, then maybe stream the day after. I want to stream more often, but then I don't because I don't know why. Because you don't. Honestly, like there may be times, I'm not going to say this is true or false. There may be times when I feel a bit overwhelmed and would prefer to not have this sense of obligation. So, like, I choose to stream when I stream. It's not that I feel obligated to stream. There are times when it feels like an obligation. And when it does, those are the days that I want to be like, I'll just not stream today because I don't want it to turn into an obligation. I want it to stay fun. I do it because I enjoy hanging out with you, not because I feel obligated to. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, oh well. Maybe I can just do this. Can I just do this? I think I can just do this. You need helps. That's good. I hope you get some. Are you asking for helps? Or are you just saying that this image will prove that you need help? This image proves that Thindle needs help. My IIS is taking up 85% of my CPU. 85.5% of my CPU. Looks like a money issue. I agree. Throw money at it and you'll solve it. Simple as that. Aaron says, I'm still stuck on the comma instead of period for decimal points. Oh, man. Worst thing is, it kind of would, but it would also be expensiver. This is true. But how much time are you sinking into trying to fix that situation? Turn that into how many hours you are getting paid to do that, and then determine. And if you're paying yourself, consider that as well. I mean, do they still call it point? Like 85.6, for example? That's a Thindle for you. That's a Thindle for you question. That's a question for you, Thindle. Do you still say 85.6 when you have a comma instead of a period? I'm kind of curious about that too. You actually say comma. So you would say 85 comma 6? Today I learned. I like the wow period comma, but with a K. This is a lot of words, so I'm going to have it on screen, but if you want to summarize it, that'd be great. This is how you learn to code. So he's having a conversation with Copilot using Copilot chat. Good to hear that One Lion is interested in. There's a lot of words, man. There's a lot of words. It takes me way too long to read. Please teach One Lion to code, is the first statement. And then I'm sorry, but I would need more information about One Lion before I can start teaching them to code. What program language are they interested in learning? Do they have any previous coding experience? They enjoy C# and Blazor. Good to hear. Here's a whole bunch of stuff. Start with Hello World. My cheddar charge. You like my cheddar charge? These are all of the transactions against my cheddar charge. My local grocer, Vendy's, which is not your burger joint. This is a nice meat serving establishment that uses high quality buttered bread and rare cheeses fermented over the past 16 years and crispy strips of bacon freshly cut from the pig directly in-house. Yeah, we got the add button hooked up though. Um, is it actually going to work? No, it's not going to work yet because we need this to say payee. And name. And the other thing that we need is when it's a payee, we will also be getting a list of categories that the payee is associated with. Which also means that we probably want to load categories when we load payees. Payees. Hello, Liquid. Liquid 007 double O double seven. What are the ORM tools used in C Sharp? Is this a quiz? Because I'm going to fail. The ones that I am using, the one specifically that I'm using is Entity Framework. And I am using, yes, I am using EF Core Power Tools. I haven't needed to because we actually did code first. We didn't have an existing database that we tried to reverse scaffold. But I could use EF Power Tools to do ER diagrams and just other things that I would do with it. Like I could regenerate my context in a better way using EF Core Power Tools, where all of my Fluent API things are their own classes, which is how I've seen people prefer it. Right now, I don't have a large enough database to warrant needing to split up my Fluent API configurations. It's called Fluent API, right? There's so many terms now. It's got to be called Fluent API. I might be getting my terms mixed up again. So with Entity Framework, this is essentially a repository for performing actions against your database. Yes, I have used it with bulk insert before, Lord Korsgaard, and it was great. I can't remember what I needed to use it for, but there was an instance where I had a lot of data that I needed to enter into a table. What is that? And instead of doing an add range, which still took a considerable amount of time, I used bulk insert, and that worked super duper fast. But yeah, now I think you're right, Thindle. Since I've used that, I believe that Entity Framework does have a new mechanism for doing bulk operations. But I did like it. I work with Java in internships, so we have to use Spring for controller and object creation, Hibernate as ORM tools. Cool. Yeah, so I don't have familiarity with Hibernate, but I am guessing that it's pretty similar where you just tell it, here's the database connection. So, and here are all of the objects in that database. Here are the tables. There is a port that's called nhibernate. So I've heard of nhibernate again, but I just don't have experience with it. But the question of have you tried .NET? So what you're looking at is Blazor. Actually, what you're looking at right now is just regular C#. But Blazor is a part of the .NET ecosystem. And so, yes, is the short answer. I have used .NET. I am using .NET. And it's actually ASP. Well, I guess I'm using both. I'm using ASP.NET because we have a whole bunch of web aspects, but I'm also just using the main .NET ecosystem moniker framework words. Are you trying to reschedule? No, this is today at 1, right? That's today at 1. Why did you send another? Oh, extended it by 30 minutes. Okay, I see. I was like, why did they send me another interview invite for the same time? And it's because she just extended it by 30 minutes. Anyway, we have to map all DB table to class in Java. We have to tell it what we have to fetch, like foreign keys also. Hibernate will generate query and fetch. So let me show this to you then. This will be pretty familiar to you. This is how I configure all of the foreign keys and the indexes and composite keys if we have any, but we most likely won't be using composite keys. What to do when you are deleting a record that has a foreign key constraint, constraining your data types to certain lengths, configuring your column types, table names. You could do all of that in here using C# code. And here are the database entities, all of the tables, which are C# objects. These are called POCOs. Well, kinda. Because this one has a custom user class, so it's not really a POCO now, is it? Anyway, so let's show you one that doesn't inherit from something else. So here is my C# class. This translates to a table in my database. So if I were to, I think I actually need to stop the app. If I were to point to my migrations table, so any changes that I want to make to the database, I would make in my code and create what's called a migration. Set as startup. And so when you use this migration tool to update your database, it runs SQL. Since I'm connecting to a SQL database, if you had a different provider, it would run the native code for that database engine. Take your time. Oh, it's building the Maui project. Why are you building the Maui project? I thought I took you out. Okay, so from the start of this project, this would have been the very first iteration of what my database looked like, all the way up until this entry for insert into EF migration history. So we get an extra table in the database just to let us know what version the database is at compared to what version we have in our code base. Then I made a change and then I created a new migration. And this was adding a column called purge date. And then it entered a new migration record into our migration table. And then I made another change, which added last update, sort order, and deleted to some of the other tables like payments and accounts, etc., etc. So this entire sequence is run in order so that, like, if I check this in, or since I have checked this into a GitHub repository, if you cloned my repository and you set this as your startup project, target it with your packaging manager console, or use the .NET EF CLI to do this, you could update database, and provided you've specified a connection string, a valid connection string to your database, it will create that database for you. And again, I'm using SQL Server. I'm not exactly sure how difficult or easy it would be to change the DB provider, but you should be able to choose your DB provider and then set it up in program.cs, and it will still work the same. In theory. It's a repository. Should be easy, right? Right. There's a lot of shoulds that I would say. So that probably seems like the same process you use with Hibernate and Java, because ORMs are ORMs, I guess. Another ORM that exists is Dapper, Dapper, not Dapr. Anyway, one of them, because there is also a Dapper technology that Microsoft created. Not confusing at all. One of them is PPER and the other one is PR. Or maybe they're both spelled DAPPER. But the point is that it's really, really easy. Yeah, somewhat. I don't know how much. Don't know much about my DB migration. I'm just an intern. Okay, yeah. I don't know if Hibernate has DB migrations, but I really, really like it because if I needed to make a change to one of these fields instead of, or not instead of, it helps to make sure that any code changes that I make are reflected in the database, and any changes that I make to the database are also reflected in my code. So I could change the name of this column to something like payee ID for you, for you. And this would cause errors because there is no mapping from a database table, specifically the payment table, to a field called payee ID for you. Yeah, Dapper and Dapper. I just don't know which one is which. So if I made this change in the database only, then I would still have the payee ID field in my model, and the database would say, I'm trying to populate a field called payee ID for you, and there isn't one there, and it would throw an exception. Or maybe it would just ignore it. I don't know anymore. And what is not mapped in JSON ignore? So this is a helper property that calculates the total based off of all of the payment details associated with this payment record. So these are navigation properties. A payment is a one-to-many relationship with payment details table. And so it just calculates the total of all of the payment details associated with this specific record. And I don't want that to be populated in the database because that's redundant. It's a calculated field that I don't need to store in my database. And so I don't want, when I do my migration, I don't want a field created. JSON ignore is when I serialize this object, I don't want to try to serialize this property. It's a Ghostbuster 1 reference. Zool. But hello, Zoosh. Sush. Yeah, so this only happens at runtime. You can think of this as anytime I ask for whatever record I'm looking at .total, it does this operation. So this is just a method that gets called. This is in Java, get total. And get total would be sum up the total of amount, round to 2 decimal places of the amounts in the list of payment details. Yeah, and so all of these here that say virtual, they are overridable, I think is what it would be in Java. Yeah, so at annotation. It's been a long time since I've done much with Java, but virtual I think is the same as at overridable. And the reason that we make these virtual in Entity Framework is because there are more things that are added to these objects than just the relationship between this class, this payment table, and this payee table, kind of thing. Thindle is also confused right now. Why is Thindle confused? And then just ignore these for now. There's going to be a better way to do these. These are going to be required, but if I call them required, then that means that when you instantiate a new payment, then you have to initialize those properties, which no, we're not going to do that. Because everything works, then EF starts timing out. And then I shut down the site and restart it and everything works. It sounds like you're trying to use the same context across multiple requests and they're colliding. It is not in the folder. Fun thing is, I haven't made a new deploy to this server in like 2 months, and now it's all like, screw you, guy. I apologize. EF must be bored, obviously. So yeah, so let me know if you have any other questions, Liquid, about .NET and how it might compare to your experience with Java. I am confident that if you continue going down the path you're going, using Java Spring for your backend with Hibernate, that those skills will transfer to if you ever decide you want to go into start using .NET. The syntax will be a little bit different, but the methodology and the concepts will be fairly similar. Oh, DV, you're so funny. But yeah, always feel free to ask questions. I'll do my best to answer. And we will continue on. I will be start working in a new company from August. They have 2 roles, Java and C#, so that's why I'm asking. Oh, I'm partial to C#. I haven't done Java in a long time. At my previous job, I converted some JSP applications to .NET, which I used MVC. And it reminded me of why I didn't like working with Java. But I am sure that the ecosystem has changed quite a bit since 2008, 2009. So, yeah, it's probably more fun to use now, but I'm so far into using .NET and really, really, really enjoy it that I kind of don't want to find out. I just think that there are like there's still a lot of complications to C# and .NET in general, but I don't know. It just feels so clean, so freeing. It feels free. It feels open, if that makes sense. I would say good at Java with Spring Boot, and Hibernate. Yeah. Oh, I am. Okay. Yeah, and so again, if you want to increase your skill in that, I still think that you would be okay if you ever made the decision to switch to .NET or just to learn .NET, not necessarily switch, but also learn .NET. I don't think that it would hinder you if you continued with Java, except for naming conventions. There are teams that will fight you if you make accidental naming convention faux pas because .NET uses quite a bit different naming than Java. Like method names, instead of being camel cased, are Pascal cased. The way that you expose your variables using these auto properties that you see here, or just a property where you put in the get method body, set method body, instead of private field, public field, and then get method, set method. So this is shorthand for that entire thing. But having those also be Pascal case, this probably looks weird to you, the naming of my properties and methods. And it takes some getting used to. Okay, we make variables private and we have getters and setters to access. Yeah, so it's again a public property is exactly that. So if I had public string some prop and private string some sorry, I was going to write it the Java way first. Question mark. So these question marks just means it's allowed to be null. Keep this in mind. Give me a second. We have a private, no, we have a public string, some prop, get set. This is the exact same as having a private field. Oh, I'll just grab it from up there. Where this get simply returns the private field. And when you try to set it, then it sets the value of that private field equal to the value that you're passing in. In Java, this is essentially private string some prop. And again, just act like this is Java syntax. And that I'm using the right naming conventions for your private fields. Public string get some prop, return some prop, public void set some prop. Just stop typing so it can fill it in for you, and then you set it. So this is the same concept. You have some hidden field that you are exposing through a get method and allowing it to be set using a set method. It's just in C# we use this syntax. And then they were like, well, this is a common pattern. So we know that if you're going to name your variable this, there's going to be a hidden field named underscore that in camel case. The get method will just return that hidden field, and the set method will return that, or will set the value for that hidden field. And so that's why they made auto properties in general. And that's the kind of like quality of life improvement that I enjoy .NET doing. It's just that there are so many that it's like, what approach am I supposed to use? What am I supposed to be doing here? Hats. Oh, wait. Await it. Await it, dude. Oh, you don't need to await it. My bad. Because it's already there in cache. And then, oh, since it's there and I don't need to await it, we can just assign it directly to payee categories. And I don't need to clear it since I'm just going to reset it anyway. So payee categories equals this. And we'll break it up into a couple lines. But yes, if you do stick around, if you ever do come back and you are well into, or not even well into, if you're into your current internship and you went the Java route, then I'd be interested to know how you're doing. Feel free to come back and just keep us up to date. And then if you do decide to go with the .NET route, you know what? I am going to have this be a list of categories. Then I am especially interested in knowing whether that works out for you. Because, again, I absolutely love .NET. It is such a fun. The end. It's such a fun. List of, and you are supposed to be, oh, because I am of, or to listing it to an I lookup to the interface. I don't need to. Okay, bokeh. So this gives us our list of categories so that when we're doing payees, we will be able to show the categories and you'll be like, this payee record belongs to this category, this category, this category, this category. Excuse me. And it'll probably look like pills, like the way you would do tags. It's totally dependent upon them, which profile they are giving. I learned C# in my second semester. So being an intern, that means that you graduated and you are now working for free. I don't know. Are they paying you as an intern? But you're fresh out of college or fresh out of university or something, and they're hiring you to do on the job. Never a headache again. Only fun. Absolutely. They pay you but less. Yeah. Well, I do hope you get the one that you want, but it kind of seems like you're interested in both as it is. You're just more comfortable with using Java. This is the one that we need. Oh, that's going to be fun. I'll just make you a string. String. Dukesoft says, congrats! And Liquid asks Dukesoft, where you from? Oh, you graduated 1 week ago. Awesome. Dukesoft says, I am a Dane. You're from Nepal. Awesome. I had a friend in 5th grade, moved to town about the same time that I did, and we became best friends. His name is Pukar Rajbandari. He is from Nepal. And he's a dentist now. Pandari, yes, yes. You're like, that is a definitely recognizable last name. Okay. We need to pass in categories. Selected categories. So the problem is going to be making sure. I thought you are a collection of lookup category. Okay. All right. You win. Deflux is here. Hello, the deflux. Cannot convert a list to a collection. Really? I didn't know you couldn't. Can I to list I collection? No. No, that's stupid. Why would I do that? Um, how do I turn a list into a collection? As enumerable? 9. As collection. That has to be a thing. Nope. I could do as read only. That would turn it into a collection. But oh, oh, it's a collection of lookup category. That would be why. Okay, so x arrows x dot item. Item. That's what the issue is. To list. Okay, you're fine. I'm here for 4 minutes. I have a meeting at the hour. I have an interview at an hour from now, or I will be performing. I will be interviewing a couple more candidates for the vacant position that we have on our team. Not I will be interviewing for a job. So hard to word that. Dang it. Me, pick me. You didn't apply. I sent out the solicitation in Discord. But yes, good luck, Deflux. About to go into a big meeting regarding all that singleton scope stuff. Wrong continent. You're in the wrong continent. Tell me I'm in the wrong continent. Okay. I actually need this to be a response. Well, or yeah, we're not going to do the response yet. We're just testing to see if this works in general. So we want to know if it happens locally without doing any of the API requests yet. So here is our account type, new account type, click add. I forgot to tell it to actually update the UI when we add it to the list. It didn't error on us though. And I also don't have a way to display the error. So we need a million things. We'll have a space. How about here? We'll have a space always dedicated for this. And if not, string is null or wait space. Wait space, add new error. We will output the error message. So that one should have, or I guess I needed to wait for, oh, you know what? You know what? It's not running anymore because I stopped the app so that we could show off the database stuff. Mimi. Bindle is being a meme. So much bro love going on. Are you a bro? Sure. This is our new account type. And there it is. We didn't even need to state as changed because we are modifying a collection that is being displayed. Why can't I get to the code behind? We're modifying the collection that's being used to loop through. And so that will obviously tell it to re-render. It'll dirty the UI. Not a bro. I'm a pro. Yeah. That's something that Chad would say. So wrong. So wrong. Yeah, Thindle, you said possibly 2 days from now you'll be streaming again, since you are doing some manual stuff anyway currently. That doesn't sound like you would want to stream. I guess that makes it a Friday. Which, by the way, for those of you that are here, Friday will be a community day still, even though I will be up to my neck in anxiety. Wrote some temporarily untestable code last time. Ah, I see. But it will be probably our best community day stream that we've ever had. If you don't know what community day is on our channel, it is where I invite any of our viewers to hop into a Discord voice channel and converse with me, have questions, have conversation about tech, about stuff. You always can. Yes. Um, and so that'll be on Friday. There are lots of frameworks for testing in C Sharp. So unit testing, we have XUnit and NUnit. You can do functional testing with things like Playwright and, oh yeah, MS Test. I forgot about those. If you have Visual Studio Enterprise, you can have your, well, I guess now you have ChatGPT and Copilot and everything. So I was going to say they have ways for you to generate unit tests. Wait a minute. I'm using Visual Studio Community Edition. Did that look like it was about to create some unit tests for me? Huh. I thought this was only available in Enterprise, in Visual Studio Enterprise. Maybe it's only live unit testing that's available now. But yeah, you can add XUnit, NUnit, whatever, MS tests, and it will create unit tests for you. You can do it for an entire class even. So the only reason that I know is because I tested it out in Visual Studio and Preview Enterprise when I used to have an enterprise subscription with my old job. Who vibrated at me? There's so many emails going on right now. What is the approach of testing if I wrote a CRUD operation for a table? So I have not been keeping up with doing tests the way that I should, but essentially you would have a test project that has one or more of those test packages, those test frameworks. Here you can see I'm using BUnit, and that comes with XUnit. But you could use, again, NUnit. So actually, no, I had to reference XUnit down here. So if I was going to write a CRUD, then that would be specific to my app, and that would be in my API. And so I would be writing my mock database stuff. So I'm not actually testing the database connection itself. I'm not testing Entity Framework. We know it works. I'm testing the methods that I am calling to do the add and update operations. So for me, in the case of doing a transaction, it's from this transaction service. And thankfully, I already have some written for that. So I can show that. You are testing? Question mark. So you have some way to mock your data store. You're not actually trying to connect to your database. You are trying to test that that method itself behaves the way you expect it to, not the associated data store. And so that's what all of this is. Here's my setup for my mock database, what to do when you try to save records, when you try to add new records, remove records, whatever we're testing. And then I mock my, what is it called? Service under test. Somewhere up here. Oh, I get it right here as part of all of this. So I mock my service under test. I perform the action that I'm trying to test, and then I make my assertions. And then if any of those fail, if I get an exception, then I am able to see that in my test explorer. Which none of them are passing. Here, payment. Oh, my add payments is passing. Watch it fail now. Bindle said something that isn't fair. I use CodeRush for coverage report, but there are other options. I've never actually seen this. Oh yeah, the create unit tests. If it's just that part, you can mock out the database for an in-memory thing and then read from that. Like, it doesn't even have to be an in-memory database, period. You could do it as just a class, and then you say add it to a list. My mock database add is just adding whatever you pass to it to a list. I'm writing, and then I'm writing my project to be testable, not to have tests. Very important distinction. I'm writing my code so if I ever get an intern, I can make them write tests. And then Liquid is like, that's not fair. And it was like, life's not fair. I'm the boss. I'm not going to do that. I'm not the devil. You could be. But yeah, so that test passed. So the whole concept behind some of the methodologies for doing tests, especially in .NET, the ones that I'm familiar with, is you have in mind, I'm going to have this class that is going to be performing these operations. So I'm going to write some tests that say, use that class. I'm going to have a method called this in that class, and it's going to fail right away because that method isn't created or it's not implemented yet. And so you write your test to fail, but to pass when you have written enough code that it satisfies the conditions needed for that test to pass. Which is called test-driven development, which is what I started this project thinking I would be doing until we did all of this mocking stuff, and it took so much effort. And then I got disheartened, and I'm like, this is way too much for a simple project. The good thing was in the beginning video, so this is all on YouTube if you ever want to go back and see the videos where we wrote these tests, but we did muddle our way through it and we found a good approach for writing test-driven development where you can write your test first, implement your method in whatever it is that you are trying to do your test for, and get it to pass. And it's just weird though, because like I know these were all passing at some point, but only add is passing. Huh? Why is add the only one that's passed? Is it because add is the only one that I actually implemented the test for? Oh, the other cool thing about this is because I'm using the B unit library written by our good friend Eagle Hansen. Bang, boot it. He says don't call it boot it. What? I do too. We have a command for B unit, don't we? Eagle? Eagle Hansen? Wow. I thought I created a command for B unit. Anyway, you'll see it in the stream elements shoutouts, but B unit is a way to do end-to-end testing for the UI. So I would be able to render a component, make sure that it renders correctly, make sure that the content is correct, make sure that it renders when it's supposed to render. But yeah. Bang Thindle. Bang unit. I really want to get into learning how to use Playwright because we're going to be using that for our functional testing for my work product. Tell Uber Shrink to shrink faster. I don't know what that means. I need to talk to the Uber Shrink tomorrow. I spent 1 month fixing wrong entry made by them in production database. I had to write subquery to select the foreign keys because the foreign keys will be different in every level of production or testing. Right? Yeah. Like what I do with my staging database and my test or what I used to do at the previous job when we did SQL Server backend stuff, um, was to, hey, thanks for finding that, was to, I have a nightly, I think it was nightly, either nightly or weekly script that ran that would dump production database into test database so that the data that I'm working with in my app looked like what production data looked like and would match. And thinking of that now, it would probably have been better to only add new records that were added in production because we had like 16 databases and 3 of them were really, really big databases. Like 2+ million records each. Okay, where are we? We got the ad to work. I was going to test every single one of the ads real quick. See, this is where automated testing would be good, where I wrote a function for if I add, oh, I need to finish the logic for that. If I add an item, then it shows up in the list of items. That's my unit test. But the other thing that I need to do is if this process was successful, clear the new item name and thank you. And who needs programmers anymore? Am I right? Okay, so what that would do is, if we did get the error message, if I add a new item, bacon. This category is bacon. Then when we click add, it clears out the name, puts it in the list, and hence you have your to-do. So this is one of the main reasons that a to-do list is a fantastic hello world getting started application, especially with Entity Framework and all of that involved. Another shout out for Tyndall, the creator of NoDocs, among other things. But NoDocs is a fantastic tool that you can use, especially if you're a streamer or you present to groups where you don't want them to see your secrets. It is able to mask your JSON files or your XML files so that you don't see the values of like your connection string, API keys, etc. Thank you so much for shouting him out, Dukasoft. You are the best non-bot bot ever. Still no one compares to you. Okay, so that functionality works at least for account types. Let's see if we can get it to work for categories. Lions Workspace is a category. That worked. My name. Deposit reasons. Umberto. Add shared services location. And okay, so this one will be different-ish. It'll still look the same for now, but we need to add the UI for being able to add tags, aka categories. And so here's our list of categories. And the categories are for associating payees with those categories. So Vindy's would be a fast food, a restaurant, whatever else we might put on there for it. Liquid says it was like for different. Oh, still talking about where he had to fix the issues for, like, was it just one wrong entry or was it a bunch of wrong entries? Because if it was just one and you had to spend a month fixing that, that's crazy. But anyway, it was like for different clients, we had different date formats. Previously, it was written in each client class to handle, but now we changed it so that it can be fetched at runtime from the database, and that will be used for saving client data. Yeah, so I'm guessing that essentially your Hibernate thing, when it gets the data from wherever it gets the data from, is the thing that now does the conversion of those dates, for example, to be in that standard format for all of your apps to access. And for your apps to be able to send a date in whatever format, and then it gets put into the database in a standardized way. I guess that's more what it sounds like you're talking about. The other thing that I would like to do is after you click add, I want this field to be refocused. So let's create a reference for the new item field. Do you know that I'm going to do this, Copilot? No. Element reference, new item input, ref. And that will be associated with a heading with this input at ref pasta. Oh, no worries at all. Definitely feel free to pay as much or as little attention as you would like, or if you just can't, please don't feel pressured to. Oh, is this not async yet? Okay, so now we're going to put our first async thing. Focus async. Oh, value. And we need to make all of this async or a bathtub, depending on how much stuff we need to put in it. Okie dokie. So what this should do is now if we add a new item, click add. It apparently didn't apply yet because I need to have it rebuilt. Rebuilt. Welcome back. So we still have the issue again where if you navigate to the page directly via URL is not populating the list. So we'll fix that eventually. Add. And so now you can see the focus is back in the name field. So the other thing that I haven't done yet is found a good way to get the enter key to work well. So we'll do it the manual way. I just think that when we have app bind, there may be an issue with using at on key down. Handle key down. So I need a new handler. I'll put it before the add. Private. I'll make it a task for now because I don't know what I'm going to need. This is keyboard event args, I think. If e.key is enter, oh man, that was it. If e.key is enter, then handle yes. That's exactly what I want. Yeah, so good. That would be why I needed it to be a task, because this is a task. 6. I agree. Object does not contain a definition for set parameter async. I'm sorry, what? Why are you suddenly giving me an error about my flyout? I didn't touch my oh, okay. So we did the code behind and now we should be able to save this and it will rebuild correctly. Except we have an exception. Just stop. Stop and stare. And stare. Ooh. Data entry list. Interesting. Oh, that makes sense. It is probably actually doing the list getter, but it's only pulling from cache. It's not waiting for the cache to get populated before it tries pulling. So the first thing that we need to do then is on initialize. This is probably going to fix that issue. We need to await lookup list state dot initialize async or initialize a bathtub. And this will make, even if something else is telling it to initialize or wanted to fly out, even if something else has told this thing to initialize, we will wait for the first thing that asks this to initialize to finish, and then we will allow it to continue. So now if we refresh the page, then we get exceptions. Not neat. Parameter view instance was expired. Oh, okay. So then this thing is going to need to wait for lookup list state as well. And the initial wait up here is making these parameters expire before it has a chance to run here. And so when this thing is trying to get the value of lookup type, it has expired. So maybe we do it here instead. And the reason that this is going to be okay is when we go into initialize a sync, it will say it's already initialized. And then just return immediately. So that's not going to cause a whole bunch of extra cycles or anything. So this should work. There's a lot of shoulds. Error, wanted to fly out. Exceptions, achievement unlocked. What's the name of this one? Error, wanted to fly out. You're going for 100 exceptions in a row achievement. Please no. I did not. Awesome. Okay, so if we go to this page directly via browser route, it loads. It does exactly what we want it to do. And so now I type in my new item. No idea why I'm typing it as a property name. I push the enter key and nothing. That is keypad enter. What is the enter key called that is on the keyboard? That is not the keypad enter. Yeah, that would be key code. Can we get the key code? No. So I'm used to seeing 13, and you're right, I'm used to seeing 13 as the number you would put. But for some reason, code is a string, which doesn't make sense. Isn't there an enum? Isn't there an enum? 13.2 string. Here, let's just do it this way. Console write line e dot key. E dot code. And let's just, they should stop paying me. Nonsense. You bring extreme value. Extreme value. Kind of like extreme sports, but not sport at all. Okay. It was enter. Why didn't it work before? So I pushed the key, unless I was pushing shift. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so key is just like if you have two of the same key on your keyboard, it's just the normalized name for that key is what I'll call it. Cool. Versus the specific one. So in that second case, I pushed the number pad enter key, just like asterisk on the number pad versus asterisk on the keyboard. Interesting that both. Oh, because there is a boolean for if you're holding down shift when you push it. Nice keylogger. P A. Oh, that's wrong. P at W Y 3 yard dbang01. You guys saw my password because I had a keylogger. Oh wait, and it's also printing out up here. Anyway, so for some reason the enter key didn't work the first time, but it worked the second time. Is it will do was work? Question mark, enter. I had to push it twice. The first time I push it, here's what the issue is. And we're gonna end with this. But I will do it by example. Where's my new input? At pasta. Okay, watch the value of name input ref. Not ref, just new item. My bad. Okay, watch the value of new item. Right now it's nothing. I push enter the first time and it's taco. Enter the second time, it's nothing. So to fix that, we need the item to be updated on input. And now watch the value of new item. It updates as I type, so that when I push enter, that's when it tries to add the thing. Like magic. Okay, so we got quite a bit of that done. We now are able to add items to the list. The only thing left to do, there are two things left to do. The first one is to actually get this new item sent to the database and then be able to handle any errors that might happen on the request to add it to the database. And the second is to add the ability to add categories to your new item. Once we're done with that, we're done with the ability to add new items to our lists. And then the last thing is to do the actual edit and delete functionality. And commit. And commit. You're so awesome. I can't believe we get to have a Dukasoft on our stream. It's so nice. Is that the only thing that we did? Yes, it is. So I'm going to commit and push. This will be live on our GitHub. And good to go. Awesome. So I'm going to look over here on my multi-stream for all of the people that I have been lurking on. Only one of them is still active. So if you feel like hanging about, we're going to raid Code Red Games. He is a game developer working in Unity. I think he's working in Unity. I don't know what he works in actually. I've watched him work on his game. It doesn't look like Unity. I've watched him work on his game for so long, but I have no idea what engine he uses. It is Unity. And the reason that I prefer watching game streamers that do Unity is one, I would love to learn how to do AR development, and I love using C#. Yeah, and what Liquid said. I love using C#. What in the world is that? Are you guys getting these commercials about these Doritos? I got your message, dude. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I'm gonna start the raid. I'm getting pinged again. So tired of that. I'm gonna start the raid. So I need skills in Unity is what I'm trying to say. And so I watch people that are really good at Unity work in Unity. So that's it for my stream for today. I will be back on Friday for Community Day. Remember that next week, Monday through Friday, I will not be streaming. And Friday is going to be the same time. So 2 hours ago until about now. And we'll have fun. We'll enjoy ourselves. Feel free to watch the playback of this video, which I may need to be updating my message about when I post the videos to YouTube. They might be able to go up on YouTube immediately after the stream now, according to the new affiliate agreement thing, but I haven't read it to figure out what all that's about. But we'll find out. Yeah. So that'll be it though for me for now. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Did I say Reddit? I didn't say Reddit. I didn't say anything about Reddit. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I am going to get ready for these interviews, and yeah, that's about it. So I'll see you on Discord if you ever feel like hopping into our Discord. It's available for you. Cheers.